Alright guys, Fula coming to you with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDBC. So in this video, I kind of want to talk about that show 90 Day Fiance, and in particular I want to talk about Pedro and Chantel and how I guess they're getting a spin-off show called the Chantel Family, I think. Now, I've kind of been watching this 90 Day Fiance a little bit off and on. Basically, I remember earlier, way earlier, I did a video about how I wasn't really down for the Nigerian brother who married this old woman who is very, very unattractive in every shape and form possible. And, now, there's at least three black guys on there who they married these women, and, you ask yourself, okay, I know the need for a visa is so real that you'll settle for anything, but it's wow, why would you settle for what you're settling for? There were two Jamaicans on there. One Jamaican, I think he succeeded. He locked down his work permit. He's doing all kinds of work. Luckily, that Jamaican, I think the work he's involved in, he stays away from home a lot of the time, because to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't want to be, I know I'm gonna sound like a jerk, but I would not want to wake up to that woman. I wouldn't want to wake up to that woman every day, put it that way. Well, knowing me, I wouldn't want to wake up to that woman at all, just based on how she looked. I forgot the Jamaican's name, but let me go ahead and look, and check. But, the need for a visa is so real. The need for a visa is so real that, they do what they need to do, once they get their paperwork or whatever the case may be, they just look at it as a means to an end, basically. Now, one of the Jamaican guys, his name was Devar or whatever. Now, what happened is it looks like yeah, it looks like that dude just got his, because he was a lifeguard in Jamaica. It looks like he just got his visa, and although they're still together, I think he does work offshore. So he's like, I'm good, I don't have to see her that often, basically. Now, what's next is, man, this dude is in trouble, unfortunately, but this other Jamaican, his name was Jay. He was so young, dude was so young. And then his girl that he got, she was she was older, so there was no way that he was going to really settle down, and so because he because he's not, a citizen, unfortunately, he got the short end of the stick because, dude was still young. So, obviously he wasn't ready to settle down. So, you know, the bad thing about him is that now he's in the ICE because because of the simple fact that he wasn't a citizen or anything, and so that girl pretty much got the girl he was with, got him in trouble. She was a vengeful little, she was very vengeful, and I mean, it sucks, but that's what happens when you deal with, these like American women, man. Like, especially ones who basically are thirsty just for your dingling and not really thirsty for the personality and things like that. You gotta really, even if you do want to do the visa process and you're just getting married to get a visa, you have to be very, very, you have to be very, very selective, in dealing with the women you're dealing with, man, especially when you're dealing with a woman who, like, that's probably why she traveled to Jamaica for, to get her rocks off, basically, which a lot of them do. It's like they get their rocks off, and, that's just it, and on the other side of things, like, he should have known, like, to have, like, I guess you can say, like, some insurance, have some insurance available so he wouldn't get caught up in this situation that he's in. It would have been nice, to for him to have secured a work permit for it to happen, and that's just the reality. But this video I wanted to talk about Pedro and Chantel, but I'll get to them. And so basically, another thing about this whole situation is that, unfortunately, because of his situation, it's really like looking kind of tough for him, but hopefully he'll get out of it, Well, on the same note, there's talks that, like, she was cheating too, that she was doing some cheating as well, and there's a lot of things. Basically, in the word of words, her, her shit stink too. In other words, you know. But now let's talk about this. So it appears that Pedro and Chantel are going to get their own spin-off show. And this was one of the funniest couples I've ever seen in my life. Pedro is a funny dude. And me personally, Pedro would be the type of dude that I would be like, yo man, let's go hit the town, let's go see what's going on out there, because of how Pedro is. Now, with this being said, we all know that Pedro's family and Chantel's family haven't seen eye to eye at all that much. I mean, they kind of I don't know, have beef with each other. I don't know what the beef is, but they definitely have beef. So with that being said, it's very entertaining. It's very entertaining, and it kind of just reminds me, because at the end of the day, Pedro is Dominican, and Chantel, she's African descended American. It's kind of interesting to see the contrast of cultures between Dominican and the Black American culture. And so I guess they're doing this spin-off. But what I hope the spin-off does, really and truly, is that hopefully this will kind of I don't know, hopefully TLC will unknowingly start something which will build bridges between just different groups of black people, because we all know that Dominicans, Dominicans right now, not all, but quite a few. I'm not saying all of them, but quite a few, denied their blackness, denied their Africanness, and what have you. And also, we know in the country right now, that Dominicans, they're trying to erase all things African, basically. And we also know the historical hostilities between Dominican Republic and Haiti, although it's the same island, separated by just French-speaking language and Spanish-speaking language. So, what I'm saying, man, is even if you look at Chantel's family, man, you can stick them in Dominican Republic and nobody will bait a second eye, basically. All right. If you look at Pedro's family, you can stick them in South Central and nobody will bait a second eye. So what I hope is that this will lead to more dialogue, because unfortunately, as much as we hate to say this, the reality TV shows do influence a lot of people's daily lives, man. I mean, it's just a real talk. People like watching reality shows, and they feel they take to Instagram to sometimes reenact those shows, and they take to Instagram with their thoughts, or in social medias with their thoughts and stuff like that on these specific shows. So, it'll be interesting to see. I know some of it is scripted, a lot, quite a few of these reality shows are scripted, we all know that. So, what I'm hoping is that it will show some cool, like some, I guess you can say some, just some good dialogue between the two, Now, when it comes to like, let's say, African culture, Afro-Latino culture, Afro-Caribbean culture, Afro-American culture, they're so vast. It's like a sea, basically. It's like it's like a vast sea. There's so many aspects to those things that, sometimes we lose track of, like, that fact. And so, that's why I think it's important to have dialogue, because, like, if you group, like, let's just say if we, like, try to do that, like, group all black people into one umbrella, then it's like, okay, it's like, although we're all black, our experiences and whatnot may be different. You know what I mean? We may have distinct things about us. So while I am for, like, unity among black people all over the world, I still believe in having, I guess you can say, keeping with one's culture. You know what I mean? As long as that culture doesn't impose on the unity. You know what I mean? So let's just say, like, if you're like a continental African who identifies with, like, certain music or something like that, you shouldn't be looked down upon for that. Or if you have a certain preference in, like, the women you want, you shouldn't be looked down upon that, as long as, you, like, I guess you can say that your women is within that African group. There shouldn't be someone saying, oh, well, he thinks he's too good for such and such. They're still, at the end of the day, still black. No matter which partner you choose. Maybe you're choosing that partner based on cultural similarities and cultural solidarity. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. I mean, at the end of the day, I think this Pedro and Chantel show will show that it's very difficult to have cohesions between, like, different cultures. I'm not saying it's impossible. It depends on couple to couple. But it's very difficult. And now, I have to say that basically, Pedro's family is at fault too. Because the way they carried themselves, especially his sister, I gotta say, call his sister out. The way they carried themselves is kind of like, maybe influenced by their former colonial masters' presence there on the island of Santo Domingo. because that's what it was once called, the whole island, basically. But perhaps the show will be a good look. I mean, I personally like to see this kind of thing, like to see the two cultures meet, but I would like to hopefully see more of a desire to understand one another rather than fight one another. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the ratings will come from them fighting each other more, unfortunately. But I just wanted to talk about that because of the simple fact that, like, the I think it's interesting that TLC chose them to make a spinoff. Pedro and Chantel. I guess because of all the particular factors involved in the saga with them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm not gonna lie, Pedro is the funniest dude on there to me. And I'm not gonna lie either, Chantel is one of the prettiest women on there too. Chantel is pretty, like, good looking. And I would say that the other good looking one was, I guess, Larissa, the Brazilian. She's pretty as well, pretty, looks good. But I think she was on it for those papers as well. But it's all good. But anyhow, just leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Let me know how you think this Pedro and Chantel show is gonna pan out. Let me know what do you think we should expect from that show. Fula signing out. Njadam.